One of the awesome things about Google Classroom is that it disrupts this old paradigm where the teacher would assign work and the teacher would wait for the kids to do the work. And then the kids would submit the work and now the kids would wait for the teacher to give them feedback. And if I'm looking at this teacher and I'm looking at all this work, it's weeks before feedback gets back to the kids. And at that point, it's too late, right? The closer the interval between feedback and the work, the more meaningful it is to the learner. And what Google Classroom lets us do is it lets us push out a copy of something for every kid, and then I can go and give feedback as student work unfolds. So suddenly homework is not about completion, it's really about a conversation about ideas. So let's take a look at what this looks like when I'm actually doing work with my kids. So here I am, I'm in Google Classroom, right? And I have this 10 times thinking about sustainability, and it's a assignment that I've pushed out to my students. Once I've pushed it out, I have a copy for each of my students, and I can hop right in and give feedback to my kids, right? So I can either open the document that Barry Allen is working on right here, right, from within Classroom, or for greater efficiency, I can open the folder that all of those assignments are in. Here are all of my kiddos' assignments. I could preview those assignments if I wanted to, and quickly hop between my different students' assignments, and then open them when I needed to give them feedback. And giving feedback is pretty easy. I just want to insert a comment. So here's Diana Prince, right? I'm going to open her work. As soon as it's open, I can jump in here and see that she's chosen to talk about climate change, and I can insert comments and give her feedback. But here's the problem. For most of us teachers, right, as soon as I assign a piece of work, especially at the secondary level, I teach 5 or 6 classes a day. I have anywhere between 20 and 30 kids in my class. That means when I assign a piece of work, I have suddenly 130, 140 assignments that I want to give feedback on. And moreover, my kids, a lot of the time, they're making the same mistakes, right? So if I take a look at some of the typical things, I'm often asking my kids to elaborate on something that's interesting. I'm asking them to elaborate and clarify something that's confusing. I'm asking them to edit for grammar and spelling. I'm asking them to edit because they paraphrased something, they didn't put it in their own words. I'm asking them to simplify things because it's too wordy. Or I'm asking them to provide more evidence to support their point. And I also want to encourage them. Like if they've made a persuasive argument, I want to let them know. I want to compliment them for their use of detail. If they have a great resource, I want them to share it with their class, etc. Right? So I typically have a whole lot of categories of things I'm saying, and I'm saying them very often to all of my students. And this is where the extension Permanent Clipboard comes in. So this is how Permanent Clipboard works. Once you've added Permanent Clipboard to your Chrome extensions, you can then curate a list. And here I have a list of the typical things that I want to give feedback on. So if I go into edit one of these, you can see what it looks like. So here I have the title, elaborate, interesting. I'll explain in a moment why I have that. And then this is what the actual comment is. And so whenever I want to add something, I can just add a new entry. I could add a description, and then I could add the actual content, and then I add it. And I also, if I wanted to, I could add a whole new folder, a new directory. And this is something that Permanent Clipboard has just added. What they don't let you do yet is drag something into that category. I can reorder all of these. I can't just drag it into a folder yet. That'll be coming soon. The reason that I have categories is that I wanted to have, let me cancel this, is that I wanted to have the typical categories that I have reflected here. When I ask kids to elaborate, when I want them to edit, when I want to give positive reinforcement, those have now become my categories here in Permanent Clipboard. So let me show you how this works when I'm giving feedback. So I have Diana's work here, and she has a great comment here about how disruptive climate change is to people's lives and economies. I just want her to elaborate a little bit more on that. Give me a little bit more detail about what she means by disruptive, right? So I come over here, I say add a comment, I right click, and I say insert from permanent clipboard, elaborate, interesting. This is interesting to me. Can you elaborate with more detail? It's in there. I comment. Boom, I've triggered an email to Diana. Next time she comes to this work, she'll see that here. I also see that this is not her words. She needs to provide some citation or paraphrase this. So I say add a comment. I right click. Insert from permanent clipboard. I come over here and I say edit, paraphrase. Doesn't read to me as your own words. Can you paraphrase? And boom, I'm ready. I can go on, I can close Diana's work. I can hop on to the next student. I open Hal Jordan's and I begin the same process. Again, it's just a matter of picking the spot, right-clicking, insert from permanent clipboard, and here you can already see I've populated this other research citation relevance, right? Please explain the relevance of this citation to your overall argument. I'm not typing it and typing it again and again. I'm not coming to a bank and copying and pasting. I've created this incredibly efficient workflow using this wonderful Chrome extension married with the efficiencies that Google Classroom has given me. Enjoy!